So Netflix is pulling out of the Warner Brothers deal, and I'm conflicted, also excited. I don't really know what to think. Um, so I will say this, right? I I don't think right now there's a big conversation, and it's always between the left and the right of like what this means. The left apparently hates this from everything that I've seen, right? Like they hate this idea that uh, Netflix will not be acquiring Warner Brothers because they believe that Paramount, because it's kind of backed by Trump, right? Trump was more pro Paramount acquiring Warner Brothers. And so, since anything associated with Trump means Hitler, Nazis, right, to these people, this is like the end of the world for them. Of course, at the same time, Netflix is also the company that keeps race changing actual historical figures for no reason other than just to do it. They're also they also made that movie. I think it was called Cuties, right? With those little girls that were just gyrating in a film, just terrible, like absolute garbage. So Netflix isn't good at all, right? Paramount right now, though, is also running out Star Trek Academy, like Starfleet Academy, which is also a bunch of garbage filled with a whole bunch of agenda pushing. And if Paramount acquiring that means that that stuff goes away, personally, sign me all up. However, I also don't think that stuff is going to go away, which is why I'm not so like, oh, yes, like I'm excited now that Paramount. I was like, no, I think, again, I made this statement in the Bad Bunny video that I made about the Super Bowl, which is the world, right? This is a Christian channel, right? So the world, the secular world, they're going to be secular. They're going to do what they're going to do. And we as Christians shouldn't be shocked by it. But this is news. It is huge news, right? Because Netflix made a crazy offer. And pretty much the reason why Paramount is taking over is because they basically upped the offer. And so billions and billions of dollars are about to be spent. I do personally believe that Paramount is going to become a monopoly, right? Paramount has so much influence in other areas. If there's one argument that can be had, right, as far as Paramount acquiring Warner Brothers and that being a negative, is that Paramount has so much influence in so many different areas, right, of media in comparison to what Netflix has, right? That I can understand that, man, Paramount's going to have a lot of say and a lot of control and a lot of things. But let's check out the statement from Netflix, right? So this was released yesterday. It says, Netflix today announced that it has declined to raise its offer for Warner Brothers. Netflix had earlier received notice from Warner Brothers Discovery that its board of directors has determined Paramount Skydance's latest proposal constitutes a superior proposal. Yes, more money. Under the terms of the WBD's existing merger agreement with Netflix, Netflix issued the following statement in response from co-CEOs Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters. The transaction we negotiated with would have created shareholder value with a clear path to regulatory approval. However, we've always been disciplined, and at the price required to match Paramount Skydance's latest offer, the deal is no longer financially attractive. So we are declining to match the Paramount Skydance bid. Yeah. So that pretty much just clears the way for Paramount. And if I remember correctly, there was a clause that basically said, and I think it was for anybody, but there was a clause that basically said that if Warner Brothers agreed to Paramount, Netflix, whoever, and then that deal didn't go through and it was backed out of, Warner Brothers was on the hook for like billions of dollars to be paid to that organization, whoever it was that backed out of the deal, which is crazy. So Netflix, while they're losing Warner Brothers, right, they're getting $2 billion, $3 billion. I think this is just crazy that this is happening. Like, but let me know what your thoughts are, right? Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, but put your thoughts down in the comments. I want to hear what you guys think about this. But I appreciate you guys. Peace.